The following production is rated S for satire. We are not professionals, nor are we clinically depressed. We do, however, suffer from long bouts of indecision and stagnation. Viewer discretion is advised.
Welcome back to this week's episode of the Take That Depression, the Project CC arc. I'm Kyler. That's Spencer.
Hey there.
And how are you doing this week, Spencer?
I'm doing pretty good. We've been experiencing quite the heat wave, and I've been hating that.
Yeah. The muscle shirt is looking really good on you.
Thank you. What about you?
Yeah, really good. Did a little bit of overtime last night. Just wanted to couldn't stay away from work for that long. But other than that, living the dream. Just kind of chugging along, doing life things. But yeah, I think that last week, we finished up all of our character summaries, which is the main 4 that we have right now, which is very exciting. But that means that now we have a huge hurdle ahead of us. And that's the 1-page summary of the story of the first arc of Project CC for us. Now, we've talked about it a lot. I've said it before, if I could type, it'd be over for you all. And if I could write and type, it would be doubly over for y'all. So this is probably this one step, and with writing characters, it makes sense to kind of split it up into 2, 3, 4, how many of your characters you have episodes. But for this one step, we're probably going to split it up into at least 2 episodes. We'll see how far we get tonight. But it is 1 page. It is a lot of writing. I should probably have double spaced this document before I started this, so I'll try and do that on the fly, I think. But this is going to be a rocky road. I just need to prep everybody. Yes, I just need to prep everybody for that. This is going to be a rocky road. We are kind of doing this live. We had a little bit of a chat beforehand about kind of what we're covering, what we're not covering. But there might be some shared glances across the cameras and a second of silence as we figure out exactly what we're going to say. But just
Don't say that!
Just know we're trying to keep the magic that Project CC is for us alive for you guys. We want to keep you as involved as possible while still not killing the joy of experiencing some of these things firsthand. So that's kind of the route we're taking here. So bear with us a little bit, but we're going to try and do this smoothly. Again, we're going to try for about 2 episodes because we are coming up very swiftly on our initial goal of 52 episodes. So we have a couple things in the planning to plan phase, and then we got a couple other things in the works for kind of those final episodes that I'm kind of excited about. But so yeah, we're going to do this. We're going to move along. We're going to get you out of here. Again, we're going to shoot for probably about 30 minutes for this episode. Hopefully we'll get halfway done with the document. We'll see. Wish us luck. With that long preamble out of the way, Spencer, I would like to ask you first, where in the 1-page story summary of the first season of the Combat Company, where would we like to start?
I think we've talked about this a few times, even before all of this. Kind of the pitch when we thought maybe like D&D campaign thing.
Yep.
And I don't know if you agree with this, but I feel like it starts off kind of, just say the whole thing, just say the fuck.
Yeah, I would. I think that, yeah, I think that that's a good place to start off, and I will try and transcribe as you speak.
That's gonna be the difficult thing. I'm gonna say all this stuff, and you're gonna be like, "Okay, yes, but put that in a sentence." And I'm like, "No, you."
I got the first 3 words. Try again.
All right, so picture this, right?
Mm-hmm.
It starts off. It talks roughly about like our back of the book type stuff.
Yep.
Dungeon crawling has been a world-class industry. People make their fortune seeking treasures and riches, gathering materials, anything in the dungeon they can do to make money, basically. But not everybody can seek riches. Somebody has to clean up the bodies. And it shows, the first images would be, in my head, it shows these guys fighting, adventuring. It's talking about world-class industry. And then it shows these guys fighting and adventuring, normal D&D party stuff. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden this creature comes in and just murders them. Straight out the gate, word of death type die stuff, just instantly just nuked. Yeah. And then it comes into but somebody has to clean up the bodies, and then it shows Maxis into the CRU.
Yep, the NCR.
Not this time. You'll notice anytime I say that, I have to blank face, stop, and then say the 3 letters. So yeah.
Don't say NCR. Don't say NCR. NCR.
I didn't have my notebook with me, so I feel like I described that very poorly.
I think you did a really, really good job.
You have to say that as my...
legally I'm bound to, but know that I also believe it. So then I think, we cut to Maxis and his group in the CRU just kind of doing what you would expect a janitor would do after a bloody mess of an event in a mall or whatever. Just kind of mopping up blood, making sure everything looks good. Partially, I think this is kind of off the rails a little bit, but partially as a psychological thing. Just if you, as an adventurer, came down to this dungeon where how many people have died, this dungeon's been around for hundreds of years, we can only assume. And if every person that's ever died, their blood was still on the walls or the floor, it would be pretty demoralizing to walk into. So I think that some of what the CRU does is strictly just as a psychological, hey, look at how clean our dungeons are. Nothing bad ever happens here.
As they pick out an arm from a bear trap and
mop buckets that are just dark water. It's just blood. We didn't say that this was going to be a lighthearted story. We did not say that, so don't pin that on us. That was never our intention.
I would like to say that I think we might even mention dark and gritty.
I believe we have.
If we didn't say the word lighthearted, so
yeah, for sure.
Here.
So I have that first bit in here, and let me tell you, it is a lot less of a page than I thought it would be. I was hoping for more, but the show goes on. So then after we cut to Maxis and the CRU cleaning up the viscera, whatever was left from this group of adventurers, then the next scene we go into is kind of them kind of shuffling back to, again, in my head, there's a pseudo prison on each floor of the dungeon that if you choose to do the CRU, so they don't have to transport prisoners to each level, they just go back to that at the end of every day, in the safe zone of that floor. So that, in my head, is that correct? Do you recall, is that what the next scene was? Is them going back to that before the next big fight happens?
Yeah, I think that's kind of where we landed on.
Okay. And again, this is all subject to change. This, this is a super, again, 1-page summary outline of what we have going on. So this is all subject to change, but I think
It just
that's
kind of shows them like finishing up maybe whatever duty they were working on,
yeah.
and then they're coming back for the day or night or their shift, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, yeah, they go back to kind of that prison on that floor. I don't even know what I would call that, like a prison room, a prison area.
The quarters, like
Yeah,
the
prison
living quarters.
Living quarters. And then as dang it.
Dang nabbit.
As they get back to that, then again, this is kind of in like a safe zone of each floor. There's like a little starting spot where you can kind of like catch your breath and like prepare for what's ahead. I'm sure there would be some level of like signage posted of like, here's what you can expect on this floor, or people going down and like, we found iron and copper on this floor, so if you're down here to search for another metal or whatever.
Maybe the floors, not like floors in generals, but the CRU, maybe they only go down like X floors. Like
Yeah.
you don't go past like the 4th floor. That's like adventuring, like training type shit. This is just like our base of operation is the first like 4 floors.
Yeah. And then
And
beyond
that's
that,
like
you have to hire
mining,
somebody.
cleanup, yeah.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So then they get back to the living quarters again in their like safe zone. And then the next scene is monsters breaking through the safe zone due to something, not like the monsters didn't cause whatever, or like there was, I think we had talked about like a hole in the wall of the living quarters that like before was just a wall, so it didn't matter. But now there's a little hole there and the monsters can kind of like peek through and whatever. Or if there's like we'd also talked about like assault circle, if like as they're coming back, like somebody just, the new guy isn't paying attention and then kicks assault circle a little bit and breaks that and the monsters can come. But that kind of a thing where the monster didn't like overwhelm the shield or anything. It was just like an action of opportunity for them where they could just, they're like, oh, this thing that usually is blocking our way isn't blocking our way, we can definitely just get in here now. So that's all kind of in that same scene. Monsters breaking into the safe zone where the prison living quarters is.
You want to go that route right off the gate from that first scene where they're coming back, or do you want like them going on like the warden's like, all right, time for your next job, you're going down this area?
I guess either way. Do you have a preference? Because we can do it right away as they're coming back. That lends itself to that, like, they're already tired from doing this job. They didn't get a chance to rest, so it's like already kind of disparaging. Or we can do that route. Either way, I mean, we could do it on the way to a job. We could do it any number of ways. Again, this just feels like the most salt to the wound option that I could think of.
Yeah.
But if we were, again, this entire document, we could finish this up, put our seal of approval on it, and then come back in a month and change the entire thing.
And change the whole thing. Yeah, okay, that's fair. We're just kind of, yeah. Alrighty. I suppose we can talk about that later and kind of see.
Yeah, again, I think once we have this entire document written, once we have this entire document written, we can go back and read through it and like highlight and
fine
be like,
tune and
yeah,
like
like I don't really like this, but this leaves a plot hole here. This is just I'm getting the initial things out of our brain onto a piece of paper and making it more concrete.
see, I always get hung up on that shit.
And you guys can do
That's
this
why
too
I
at
got
home.
that's
We've said it before on this podcast so much. Make a thing exist and then make it good. This is us making it exist right now.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's why I have you to set me straight when I get hung up on the little shit.
So then, while this attack is going on, do you want to cover that next? And this is kind of not whatever, but we're getting introduced to our next character because at this point, up to this point, we know Maxis, and we know that he has two good friends. And that's it. That's all we know. So if you want to introduce us to our the next main character, how they stumble upon each other, I will let you take the reins on that.
Us?
No, that we already know about us.
How about you lead us off?
While the monsters are attacking, we cut to like somewhere in the ceiling, maybe a tower.
Oh, I do know where we're at.
Somewhere off in the distance, and then Spencer can lead us off from here.
All right, so monsters attacking, people defending themselves, kind of thing. Very unexpected, because no one expects them to come in. That's not what kind of like dungeon there is. They're usually pretty safe. It's just cleanup duty, whatever. But off in the distance, watching the scene unfold is Garrick's.
Yeah, there we are.
And he's down there for his own reasons right now. He's on a mission of sorts.
Yep. Then that's not how you spell unfold. Boop.
Untold.
Unsold. As he's watching, it's kind of getting pretty bleak. Some might say again, these people are not adventurers. That's not to say they can't fight. They are prisoners. So some may be there for violent crimes, whatever. But
there's not like an armory or anything like that. It's not like get the guns, get the swords.
Yeah, they don't have weapons for very clear reason. But yeah, that's kind of going about as well as you'd expect that kind of a thing to go. And as that's happening, the monsters are kind of like enclosing around Maxis and his small little crew. And when the monster goes to like strike Maxis down, like down from the top, making into putty kind of thing, Garrick sees Maxis put his hands up, and then something happens. We haven't exactly nailed down what this is, but something happens that turns the monsters away for whatever reason. But that moment there, Garrick's perceives it as Maxis has done something to turn these monsters away. So that puts his interest again in Maxis's direction, of whatever. But yeah, so Garrick sees Maxis put his hands up, and then the monsters just stop. For whatever reason, they're no longer fighting. They're just kind of like look around maybe, and then leave for whatever reason. Now let me type that up. All the things I just said. Excuse me. After that, then the kind of scene continues to unfold.
I'm sure there's people like picking
Tending
up
to
more
wounded,
bodies,
yeah,
and guards come in, get sent in to kind of secure the situation.
yeah. Make sure that they've secured their investment. Making sure like the prison guards have secured it, all the prisoners, everybody's accounted for, nobody made an escape, those kinds of things.
Definitely wants to hear you.
Then I think that goes on. So we just make sure that everybody's cleaned up, everybody's good, whatever. We check with everybody. I'm sure there's a conversation that happens with Maxis and his little crew. It's like, what was that? I don't know, blah, 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 whatever. But that's the end of that scene. And then we cut to the day later, maybe hours later. And we come to a guard approaching Maxis and being like, come with me. Do you want to take it away from there, Spencer?
I'll go for it.
All right. So a guard comes and grabs Maxis and then takes him to a room out of the dungeon, I'm assuming. That would probably be... maybe there's a warden's office on each kind of the floors. That would make sense.
That, or maybe bring him back up to probably floor level, because if he's been like down there the whole time, like maybe this is like, you know, some elevator or something brings you up to like so a guard comes and grabs him, brings him up to floor 1 or floor 0, to like ground level, where they have a warden's office. And the guard brings Maxis into the warden's office, and in the office is Garrix, and the warden. And essentially what happens is Garrix is like, come on, I bought out your contract, we're getting you out of here. And Maxis here, knowing that he has his crew, being that kind of a person, stands up for them, and he's like, I'm not doing that. Like, I'm gonna stay with my guys. I don't, whatever you got going on, like, I don't want to owe you anything. I don't want to whatever, like, unless they're coming with, I'm just gonna stay here. Which is, to be fair, not really an option that he has, but he's the kind of guy to stand on that business. So he does that, and then through whatever, talking, chit-chatting, anything, whatever, they come to an agreement where Garrix also buys out his 2 friends' contracts so that all 3 of them can come along and then start. Then they would go to the combat company headquarters or whatever passes for that in that moment. Because I'm sure it would be somebody's basement, a shed that has very low rent or something like that in that moment. It wouldn't be anything crazy. And then they go to that. And then they kind of meet with everybody that's at there, which may just be Garrix. We may have other kind of people kind of coming in and out, whatever. I'm sure that it's a small operation, so if there are other people there, it will not be a lot of people. And then there is obviously
something that needs to go in here. It'll be placeholder text probably for right now, of just kind of setting them up with the guild, making sure they know exactly what's kind of going on. And then that leads into the first mission that we get to see. So as part of the mercenary company, or whatever we want to call it, but as part of combat company, the first mission that Maxis and his crew of 3, get to go on. And then so we'll go through. We need to figure out exactly what that mission is. We're super prepared for this, as you can tell. We'll figure out exactly what that mission is, and then during that mission, we have things kind of go off the rails, and the Maxis's compatriots get killed there.
R.I.P.
Yeah, R.I.P. to some real ones. And then so that whole mission kind of, I would say, ends up in a bust for sure. That whatever the task was does not get completed. Again, we're in the combat company era, so we are no longer in janitorial mode. We are more so in the recovery mode, corpse recovery mode, or item recovery mode, whatever that may be.
Basically, like mercenaries, we get hired for a job.
Yeah.
Type deal.
Yeah, it's almost like insurance. We had kind of talked about that, where if you're going down, you get insurance that if something happens to you, then a mercenary company like the combat company will come down, get your remains, bring it back up. For right now, we're leaning towards the church as a religious rite of passing. They cremate all the bodies. I don't know. We'll have to chit chat about this. I don't know if it's every person that dies they need to cremate, or if it's just people from the dungeon. For whatever reason, whether we've talked about it on here before, like whether it's dungeon touched blood, if that like seeps into the dirt, if that's bad or whatever. We don't exactly know that just yet. But as a summary, that the church wants all the bodies out of the dungeon to burn them, to make sure that they're not contaminating anything for whatever reason that we'll come up with. So that's where we're at now. And that's the first mission that they get sent on, to recover somebody, something, and it just goes sideways. And his 2 compatriots also die. And then we need to then get out of there and then get people to go back in there to get them out. But I think that leaves us just shy of 30 minutes. And that's about half a page. So, and we have, I feel like this is very early on still. I feel like we're going to end at more than a page here.
Yeah, probably.
But that's super fine. We can make it work. But I think that that's a good stopping point for this episode right here. I think we covered a decent chunk, at least in the beginning, the setup, and about to be the fall down, I guess, maybe. Still a little bit of setup going in, but yeah, we'll come back next week and finish this one out. And then I believe it's the week after that we're going to start doing our pseudo celebration podcasts. We got some stuff in the works for that, so pay attention for that. 52 episodes is coming up quick.
Yeah. We've said it a whole bunch of times, but this is the most consistent thing we've been doing. At least I've done in a long time, probably in my lifetime. Yeah. It's crazy because I was recording last episode or the episode before that.
and I was just like typing in the file names like I do make a new folder, and it's episode 23, and then I put the release date as the episode 23, February 13th, 2026, and that's what the folder is called, and then I put the video file in there, and then I edit it down, do all the stuff, and I put the edited file in there, and then put it up, whatever. But I was doing that, and it was like episode 46. So I'm like, 46? That's crazy close. Like,
where does the time go?
Yeah. It was a fun, just like shock to the system to see that. And this, I believe, is episode 47. So it's crazy that we've come this far, and we can't wait to kind of share a little bit of silliness with you over the next couple weeks after next week. We're thankful that you came along with us for this ride. Again, 52 weeks is not a short amount of time. That's a whole year. It's crazy that we're coming up on a year of doing this, from that very first shaky voice podcast to whatever we are going on now. It's been a fun ride. So we can't wait to share all that with you. We can't wait to share you what the future of Take That Depression looks like. I'm very excited to kind of move this forward into the next life of what it's gonna be. But as always, thank you guys so much. If you like us anywhere you can like us, follow us anywhere you can follow us. If you don't like us, don't do those things, and send us an email with how we can do better at takethatdepressionpod@gmail.com, or leave a comment with what we could do better on any of the places you can leave a comment. We would love to hear from you. Leave a comment or send us an email if you like what we're doing and want us to do more of something. We'd love to hear from you. But without further ado, Spencer, anything else from you?
Nothing from me.
Alrighty, then we will close it out. As we always love to say, stay safe out there.
And don't get mugged.
If you are struggling, please, please, please reach out to someone or dial 988 to get connected with someone at the National Suicide Hotline. You do not have to go it alone.